Welcome to the MMA Happy Hour. I am Kyle Anthony, your host. We're here. We have interviews, MMA banter, and betting advice. This week, UFC Singapore. Yes, I'm going to be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning this weekend between Max Holloway and the Korean Zombie. We're going to be talking three plays like we always do on the show. And yes, this is going to be an early card. I always like those during the day cards, but this is a game changer here for me going to bed early on Friday and waking up real early on Saturday morning, but excited about it. We've got some plays to talk about. We've got fights going on, so excited about it. Let's dive right into the main event. But before we do, want to thank our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy Sports. If you want to be on that site and also get a 100% deposit match up to $100, link down in the description. We've been doing pretty well on those Underdog Pick'em lineups, so check it out. Also, if you want to become a client on Wagertalk, get all of my client plays. There's also a link down there as well too. So if you want to get into that, get into it. If not, we're going to talk three free plays here on the event for Singapore. And the first one here, we're going to dive right into it, is going to be Max Holloway minus 800 against the Korean Zombie plus 550. Now, first thing here is you've got the GOAT. You've got the GOAT of the featherweight division that isn't named Alexander Volkanovski in Max Holloway. On the other side here, you've got the vet, the longtime vet here in the Korean Zombie here now. So the first thing here is, why is this even taking place? That's the first part. This main event is a little bit interesting here that we're getting this, where we got Max Holloway coming in here. You got the Korean Zombie, who's 1-2 out of his last three. Now, kind of his swan song here, kind of the end of his career, kind of, teetering to that. But it's kind of funny how you look at Max Holloway, and I probably say this almost every time we see Max Holloway fight, is he's 31. I mean, the fact that he is so young, he has accomplished so much, and Zombie, 36 years old, it's just crazy where he is in his career overall. But in this spot here, I mean, a lot of things we're going to talk about probably is already baked into this big number here at minus 800, but let's play with this number a little bit and see if we can find a spot to place our wager. So the first part here is stylistically speaking. Now, I give pretty much every advantage to Max Holloway in this spot. And when you're looking at it, I think there's three main parts when I was capping this fight, researching the fight, was going to be the footwork, the hand speed, and also the volume. And that's one thing that Max Holloway is so good at, with that volume, really working those angles, pushing the pace. And you've seen him multiple times when he's out there, the volume, death by accumulation, landing a lot of shots, just hitting you with the volume. And that's really, again, how he's been able to get these decisions, dominating wins, and losing some, but pretty much to the best guys in the world besides for that. But I think the thing here that's really going to mess with Zombie is how slow he is. Now, he is just a slow, plodding style. The guy's always looking to throw these big shots, throw big overhands. He's got that KO power. And there's no doubt about it that he's even durable too. So he's a guy that's going to go in there and really look to scrap with you, throw that big shot. He's not light on his feet at all. And that really allows somebody like Max Holloway to work at range, work at distance, work in space. I mean, the one thing also with Max is not just that he's got the footwork, but it's just that distance management is so incredible. And that has how he has found success. And when you're looking at it also, if he can push that pace, if he can really push that pace and really go in at the Korean Zombie, I think that he's not going to also want to just trade and throw in the middle of the cage range, and that's where he's going to find success. Now, if you're looking at, are there paths to victory for the Korean Zombie? I don't really think so. Outside of maybe, a fluky big shot that rocks Holloway, I don't really see it. Again, one of the things that, I guess if you're peeling back some options for him, is the wrestling. Now, is he going to get Max down? Probably not. Max Holloway supports an 84% takedown defense rate, while on the other side here, you've got the Zombie 47% success rate on takedown. So there is an option there. I don't really think that it's wide enough for him. I don't think he's going to be diving at legs. I think this is a big showcase for him here. I don't think he's going to be diving at legs. I think he's going to be looking to scrap, and that's going to make things get a little interesting here. But I think the one spot here that could kind of possibly lengthen this fight a little bit is really going to be how durable both of these guys are. And they're not guys that get finished. They're also guys that in spots can find finishes. But if you're really looking at it, I think the fact that Max Holloway doesn't really fire the big shots. Again, it's going to be the pace, the cardio, the output. The guy is, when we're talking about 5-round fights, he is a guy that pretty much fights them consistently. If you're looking at it, he has had 8 straight. Now, this is Max Holloway, 8 straight fights that are 5-round fights that went the distance. So this is a guy, again, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but this is a guy who has that volume, but then has the cardio to back it up and then can consistently stay out of danger. He's very risk adverse. He's not a guy that you're going to see there do anything stupid. Even when he was fighting Dustin Poirier, who has big power, much bigger than him, he hung in there with him. Yes, he got slapped around, but he did not get put away. He was tough enough to kind of work through some of those things. But if you're looking on the other side here, is that Zombie, yes, he's durable, but he's also a guy that, he's not getting finished. Since 2013, Korean Zombie has 3 KO losses. One of them was Jose Aldo back in 2013. That was round 4. Then you had Yair Rodriguez, who knocked him out with seconds left in the fight. That was round 5, obviously, and then he got knocked out. And then even Volkanovski knocked him out in the 4th round. So these aren't finishes that Zombie's getting finished in the 2nd round, the 1st round, the 3rd round. He's getting finished later in fights. He's taken a lot of damage. Again, Volkanovski, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world, puts him away in the 4th. Yair, crazy fluky elbow, puts him away seconds left in the 5th in a fight Zombie was probably going to win. And then Jose Aldo is Jose Aldo, but that was back in 2013. So this is a spot where I really do think there's going to be length to this fight. I really do think that the over-under set at 2.5. I think it's like -225, so it's juiced to the over. And I do agree with that. I do think that that's where it's going to be headed. I think it's going to be going to a decision. And again, 8 straight fights for Max Holloway, and he's the kind of guy that's going to win by decision. He's a decisionator. He goes out there and he's able to out-volume guys, out-cardio them, and work there. I think the hand speed's going to be there. I think the volume, the pace, all of those things are going to be there for Max Holloway. So if you're looking at this number here, I mean, -800, that's pretty damn wide, but I think it's kind of rightfully so where Max Holloway is in his career compared to where Zombie is in his career. So I do like Max Holloway to win via points is +165. I think that's a great number on a spot where the last 8 fights for him went to the decision. He's not a guy that's looking to get these big finishes. The last time he even had a finish was Brian Ortega back in 2018, which was a doctor stoppage. And that was, I think, the 4th round as well, too. So a little bit later in the fight as well. So I really think that this is a good spot for Max Holloway to win by decision. Don't think that the finish is going to be there. I think they're also going to have a little bit of respect for each other too. So I do think this gets to the scorecards here. I do like Max Holloway via points +165. Now, the other one here we're going to be talking about is going to be Giga Chikadze versus Alex Caceres. Now, we've got Giga -275 on the comeback here, and Caceres +210. So when you're looking at Giga here, the first thing is going to be this guy is elite when it comes to his kickboxing. He is smooth. He's got this high-level arsenal of striking. I mean, we've seen what he's done with a lot of the opponents that he's got. The body kick, the Giga kick. I mean, the guy has it all when it comes to the kicking arsenal. On the other side here, Caceres, crafty veteran, doing his thing, well-rounded guy, does have some nice footwork and hand speed that could possibly give Giga some problems in this spot here. Now, the one thing here that I think you got to look at is going to be the fact that this is probably going to be the most well-rounded MMA fighter that Giga has ever faced in his career. Now, he has faced some killers. There's no doubt about it. He has definitely faced some killers, but he has never had the ability where or the worry that he needs to worry about takedowns. He's fought very, very, well-matched guys that are kickboxers, are strikers, are willing to stand, exchange. Those are the things that really make Giga, he can go out there and just not have to worry about any of those things. I think that opens up a lot of opportunities here, possibly for Caceres to have some success if he's going to be starting to mix it up. I mean, the people that Giga beat, he beat Edson Barbosa, Cub Swanson, Jamie Simmons, Omar Morales. I mean, so these are some guys, again, aren't going to be diving at legs, are going to be comfortable striking. If Giga's comfortable in space striking, he's going to have some edges against a lot of opponents. I think that does help him in this spot. But the one thing here that I think takes a little bit away and gives you a little more worrying about Giga is the fact that, you know, after really kind of performing and looking well, he got his ass handed to him against Calvin Kattar. I mean, it was a 50-45. He beat, Giga Chikadze all over the place. I mean, you know, literally walking him down, outlanding him. I mean, it showed his durability, it showed his toughness, but he was just outmatched, was really staying on his back foot the whole time. Forward pressure by Kattar. Kattar was able to land, just absolutely dominate. And that was back in January of 2022. So he has taken a lot of time off. Giga's now, you know, in the mid-30s at this point, you know, and is that a good thing that he took this time off? I'm not too sure, but I really feel like he was building a lot of momentum. And that was a beating that really will change your outlook of just your career after something like that, where you finally, you know, kind of got that step up, got the main event, really looking to build, and just beaten Edson Barboza, looked fantastic. Now he's fighting it's a step down in Caceres, but I feel like this line is a little too wide here for just what Caceres could offer in this spot here. Now, don't look, but Alex Caceres is 7-1 out of his last 8 cage appearances. 7-1. Now, I know he hasn't faced some of the high level guys or some of these elite level guys, but he's winning. You know, he's going out there, he's getting some submissions, he's winning by on the scorecards. The only person that he lost to over that span was Sadiq Youssef, who is top level guy, a killer himself, also a friend of the show, had him on here not too long ago. Definitely want to get him back. But that was his only loss. So if you look at something like that, I mean, this guy's really kind of performed, and you know, he's not Mr. Flashy, but he looks to be getting the job done. And the other part here is that, you know, the takedown threat alone, I think for Alex in this spot could really open up opportunities for Caceres to go out there and get the job done. I mean, I think that just the threat, the opportunity, he's a BJJ black belt. He has the ability to get these takedowns and has the ability to kind of get that control. If he does get Chikadze down, it could really spell the end of the fight. I mean, that's how high I think where you're slowly, consistently seeing Alex getting better with his overall ability in MMA. I think this is the best that we have seen him over his career. And a lot of people also think that Giga has this long range, this long reach. I mean, he's going to have like a 1-inch reach advantage over Alex. I think that also is going to help him in this spot, looking to push forward. Alex has a 68% takedown success rate. I think he's going to look for some of that. I don't think he wants a glorified kickboxing match with Chikadze. I don't think that's going to be the smart thing. But mixing in some of these takedowns, mixing in some of these opportunities will open up the door for head strikes, body strikes, mixing it up on him. And again, it could also help the fact that, you know, last time Chikadze was in the cage, he got his ass handed to him. And right now, Caceres is really looking very good. Again, lower level competition, but has looked fairly good when it comes to that. Plus, if Giga's going to throw a lot of kicks, that could open up the door for takedowns as well. It's not that, Alex is going to be diving at legs the whole fight, but I think the mixing in, keeping him off balance, this is, again, the most well-rounded fighter I believe that he's pretty much fought, and it's going to spell trouble here. So when you're looking at a number you're getting close to -300 on Giga, where there are multiple paths to victory and opportunities for Caceres, I like the dog here, man. I think that this number is wide. We're getting over -200 on some books here. I think it's well worth it. I think it's a good sprinkle spot. I'm not saying you're going to be hammering this spot, but I do like Alex Caceres to get the job done, plus 210 against Giga Chikadze. And the last one here we're going to talk about is going to be Junior Tafa versus Parker Porter. Now, I know this one could be a little bit of a sloppy fest here, but I think we've got an angle here when you're looking at it. Now you've got Parker Porter. He's going to be the grappler here. He's going to be the older guy by far. I think it was like 10 years. Older guy by far, whatever it is. And then you're looking at the other side. We've got Tafa, who's kind of come up, new to the game, got 5 fights in his career, has looked good in certain spots. But I think the biggest thing for me when you're looking at this fight was really Justin, our junior. Did I say Justin before? I'm not even sure. Junior Tappa was Junior Tappa's last fight against Mohammed Usman. And that, to me, it was very worrisome if you're looking to take the favorite here in this spot, because I thought there were a lot of issues that you could see with Tappa, how he was fighting, what he was doing. And really, Usman has very much the same skill set and the same paths and the same ability kind of as Parker Porter. I would give Usman maybe a little bit better when it comes to just strength, maybe, or maybe the pure wrestling, possibly. But he's a sloppy striker. It's not like he's some snappy guy on the outside. I mean, he's pretty sloppy overall, and he still was able to get Tappa into positions where he felt comfortable, where he was able to get some control time, and Usman worked him from there. Early it was sloppy, Tappa was landing. That also was going to be an opportunity for him in this fight here, where he could be worrying about some of those big shots. But I do believe that the grappling advantage and the clinching advantage that Parker Porter has is pretty wide here. And you saw the clear vulnerability of Tappa. He was up against the cage. He was taken down. Even when he was up against the cage, he just wasn't as knowledgeable. And when he was taken down, it looked like he had zero ability. I think even the announcers, when I was rewatching these fights, they're even saying, he doesn't really know what he's doing. It was almost like they were just like he's not even setting anything up, moving his hips, trying to escape. He just didn't look that good. Usman was exhausted overall. Even Tappa was a little bit exhausted, but still he was able to win positionally, and that honestly, it's going to be the exact same thing that Parker Porter is going to look to do. He's going to look to win positionally. I don't think he's a guy that's going to be hunting finishes. He's kind of got, it could be a lay and pray. It could be a sloppy, ugly fight, but that really is a path. And I do like also the fact that Parker Porter's jab, he's going to have a nice jab. He mixes it up a little bit better than Usman does. I mean, Usman swings wild shots, hopes to just get his hands on you and just power you down. Now, again, not saying Parker Porter is this elite guy by any means, but he does have a little bit better striking overall. I think a little bit better understanding of distance management, a little bit better understanding of striking. And I think that can help him when you're looking at it, because this is really where Usman found success. And I do think that that's also the same type of path for Parker Porter. What was it? The other side here was the other part here. The clinch game, we talked about that already too. And I just think that the other thing here is Tappa being so one-dimensional. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign that he is very, very one-dimensional against a wrestler. Now, I know that his older brother in Junior Tappa recently knocked out Parker Porter, which I did bet Justin Tappa via KO in that fight. Now I'm looking to kind of go the other way here, but for different reasons. And I just don't think that Junior Tappa has that pure on ability. Now, even Justin is a guy that doesn't have many fights either, but I do feel like he's a little bit better. But you're also looking at it just pure MMA experience here. And you've seen that there are absolute issues and holes in the game of Tappa. I think that having 5 professional fights, he is not going to be ready for this. I think that the more mixing it up is going to be helping Porter, really smothering, keeping him up against the fence, getting that control time when he can get that control time. And yes, listen, Parker can get knocked out in this first round. That's absolutely live when you're fighting one of the Tappa brothers here, where they're looking to throw the big shots. They're willing to sell out for it. And that, I think that here Parker may be a little bit more, calculated maybe on these takedowns, not be as sloppy here. Again, the age gap definitely worries me, but I think the path is there for Parker Porter to get the job done here. So I think he's going to win positionally. I think it's going to be ugly. I think that there could be maybe a 3rd round stoppage possibly for Parker Porter, but I think he could possibly even win at a decision. But I think the first round could get ugly, and I think then Parker picks up those next 2 rounds. Either way, I like Parker Porter here. I think it's a dog or pass spot for me, plus 125. I do like Parker Porter to get the job done in a sloppy fight. But I do think that he goes out there and wins positionally. So there you have it there. Parker Porter plus 125. So there you have it for the MMA Happy Hour 3 plays. If you want to become a client, link down in the description. And as well as if you want to get involved in Underdog Fantasy Sports, also link down there. We'll be posting up some of my pick'em lineups for this weekend on Twitter at Kyle Anthony UFC. And let's keep it going, man. Excited about it. It's going to be early, man. It's going to be way, way early, but I'm up. I'm into it. And that's it, man. Let's get the job done, and I will see you next weekend. Let's cash.